I want to talk about due diligence. Okay. So I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to let you talk about due diligence because you like to talk
So
and you're good at due diligence. So go for it.
I think this is something that a lot of people do not look at, and even buyer's agents as well. Because I've had a client come to us, they've used a buyer's agent, and when I looked at the property they purchased, great location, not bad location of the actual area where they purchased, but the property itself, there's a lot of things that I started to ask. And when I done my DZ on that property, it was in a flood zone. Okay, so this is something that you really need to make sure when you get these properties presented to you by a real estate agent. They're not going to tell you everything, and they probably don't even know everything about the property or the location or where it is. So things that we look at that are vital: flood zoning, bushfire zoning, air flight path, building permit zoning, easements, and then as well doing a cash flow analysis, making sure the insurance policy is not through the roof, location, having a look where the property is situated. Now, if you've got an independent person that can go through the property, inspect the location, that in the location, that's going to help you as well. If you can do a bird's eye view using your Google Earth, having a look where the property is situated, if it's on a corner, main road, or maybe, there's a derelict house across the road. These things contribute to the value of your property. Because if you've got a derelict house across the road, what do you think that's going to do to your property value? If the house is run down or if it's abandoned and there's, cars at the front, wrecked cars at the front, and there's rubbish all over the front. I've seen it before. That's going to push your prices down. It's going to make the street not look valuable. So making sure the street is beautiful, grasses are cut, houses are being upkept, and these things are improve the value of your street and of course your property as well. So these are something to really look out for, because if you're planning to do a development and you want to make sure that the building or the zoning of the property is in the right zoning, it's going to help you build that, that development that you're planning on doing, if it's a block of units or whatever it may be. This is something that you need to make sure that it's in the right zone capture. Flight paths, that's something that people don't take in consideration, because I guarantee you probably know someone that lives next to an airport or flight path, and you hear planes and they're very noisy going past. Now, that has an effect on your property prices as well. And all these things have something to do. Easements, if you want to build on a property and there's an easement, you can't build on top of that easement. So these things are, are taken into consideration. And I think, like I touched before, insurance policy is super crucial. I've been into regions. I've done my research. And before we start buying, I make sure I get a property, location, and I do an insurance policy check. I make sure that, the insurance policy is not through the roof. We've been in regions for just a normal standard home. The insurance policy can be up to $2,500 plus a year, which is ridiculous. Once you start looking at your cash flow, it's getting stripped. So even do your cash flow analysis. Once you've got the property off the agent, make sure you ask for the rates, the water. You ask for the management fees or what they're charging if you're going to go for the same property management teams. Right? Make sure you calculate your interest per the year. Okay, make sure you're looking at, I guess, if there's any other repairs or anything that need to do to the property. If not, that's a bonus. But if there's something that you have to do, if there's flooring, you have to do some paint, factor that in. These are things to take into consideration. Even your insurance. Once you've done your analysis, you can give your cash flow analysis of what the property is going to put in your pocket after year one. Now, if you want a cash flow calculator, we do have that, and we'll put it in the show notes, and you can get that free tool that's going to help you when doing analysis. I think that's super important. People leave this out and they buy a property. Next thing they know, they haven't factored in all these expenses and the property is negative geared and it's costing you a significant amount of money.